Hello, happy crocheters. This is Lindsay from WindingRowCrochet.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Dapper rib scarf. This is a beautiful, classic-looking rib scarf with a fun detail at the end of the scarf to make it look nice and finished without having fringe. For this scarf, we use two different stitches that allow us to have a unique rib pattern that looks different on each side of the scarf. Then at the end of our scarves, at the end of each row, we are going to reverse the rib pattern to give us a neat finished look. And so the end of the scarf will look different, but won't be using anything like a fringe. This scarf is about 68 inches long, 6.5 inches wide, and you do want to make sure you check your gauge if you want your project to turn out the same size. For this scarf, I used 2 skeins of Wool Ease by Lion Brand. It is a medium weight yarn, and I used the color called Arrowwood. You can use more yarn if you would like to make this scarf wider. I used a size I 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You will also need a yarn needle and scissors. We will start by making a slip knot and inserting our hook. We are going to chain 253 chains. If you want to make this scarf larger, you can add any number of chains as you like to make it as large as you would like it to be, and I will explain later what you will do with those extra chains. Once you have 253 chains, we are going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. I am going to work into the back bumps because I think it looks nicer, but if that's difficult for you, work into the chain in any way that works for you. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to single crochet into the next 14 chains. So we will have a total of 15 single crochets. Once you have 15 single crochets, we are going to work a half double crochet into the next chain. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Next, we're going to work 220 double crochets. Yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops to create a double crochet. You'll double crochet in a total of 220 chains. Now, if you added to your starting chain, for example, you worked an additional 10 chains, you would work an additional 10 double crochets. It's always going to be that middle stitch, that largest number that you add those additional stitches to. So we're going to work 220 double crochets along this scarf, and then I'll show you how to finish up the other end. Once you've completed your double crochets, you will have 16 chains remaining. We are going to work another half double crochet. So you'll yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook for your half double crochet, and then you will single crochet into the last 15 chains, and that will complete this row. Once you get to the end of the row, we are going to start row 2, and in this row we're going to be working in the back loops only. And we're going to start the row working with double crochet. So for this row, we are going to chain 1. In the pattern, it says to chain 2, and both ways work, but this is how I actually like to do it. I'll chain 1 and then pull up on my loop so it gives me more height and gives me a cleaner edge. I like this, but it's up to you. Going to yarn over. For working in the back loop only, normally you would go under both of these top bars, but we are going to go down the center of the stitch and out the back. We're going to pull up our loop and complete our double crochet. We are going to work a total of 15 double crochets in the back loop only for the first part of this scarf. So going down the center, out the back, and completing our double crochet. So just work 15 double crochets. Once we've completed our 15 double crochets, we are going to work 1 half double crochet into the back loop only. This is our little transition point, and it's going to be at the same spot on both ends. So if you like, you can actually put a stitch marker in the half double crochet. So yarn over, go into the back loop only, and create our half double crochet. Now for the next 220 stitches, we are going to work single crochets in the back loop only. From now on, all of our stitches will be worked in the back loop. That is what gives us that beautiful ribbed texture. So go ahead and work 220 single crochets in the back loop only, and then we'll finish up the other edge of the scarf. We made it to the last 16 stitches of our scarf. So what we will do now is work a half double crochet in the back loop only. And I can tell where that half double crochet is, but as I mentioned earlier, feel free to put a stitch marker in this half double crochet stitch. That way you don't have to count up to 220 stitches. So now after the half double crochet, we're going to work the last stitches as 15 double crochets. And just work double crochet until you reach the end of the row. So we reached the end of row 2, and you can see how we have that kind of transition at the end of our scarf. So now we're going to work row 3. We're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to start the row with working 15 single crochets in the back loop only. And I didn't mention it earlier, but this is a 2-row repeat, so this is the last row I will have to show you. So single crochet, back loop only in the first 15 stitches. Once those 15 stitches are done, you can see how we're starting to get this nice rib texture. We are going to work 1 half double crochet in the back loop only, and then we're going to work 220 double crochets in the back loop only. So just keep working double crochets in the back loop only until you only have 16 stitches remaining. When we've made it to the last 16 stitches, we'll start by working a half double crochet into the next stitch in the back loop only, of course, and then we'll work the last 15 stitches as single crochets in the back loop only. And that is all you need to know for this scarf. Now what we will do is we will continue to repeat rows 2 and 3 until you have a total of 19 rows. That's as many rows as I could get out of my 2 skeins of yarn. If you want it to be wider, you can always add a 3rd skein and continue repeating rows 2 and 3. Row 2 and 3. And that's all you need to do. So I'm going to continue working on this scarf and I will show you how I finish up. So I am just now finishing up my 19th row with some single crochets. And all we need to do here is to clip our yarn and weave in our ends. From here you can see that nice transition from a thick rib to a thinner rib at the end, and it just adds a really neat finished look. I'm going to clip my yarn, grab my needle, and we will weave in these ends. I do have 4 ends to weave in because in the middle of the scarf I had to add another skein of yarn. So let's just thread my needle and I'll show you how I like to weave in my ends. When weaving in anything that is going to possibly be washed, you want to weave back and forth a total of 3 times. So I'm going down once, I'm going to turn around and go back up, and then turn one more time and go down, and that's going to secure my yarn. Make sure not to pull too tight. We don't want to gather up those stitches. I'll clip my yarn, and then all I need to do is weave in my other 4 pieces of yarn. In the middle of my scarf, this is optional, but since the 2 ends are right next to each other, you do have the option to knot them together before you weave them in. That makes them really nice and secure, but some people can feel the knot when they wear it and don't like that. So whatever you do is totally fine, but that definitely is one option. And then with both of these yarn ends, I will weave them back and forth 3 times. So one way, back the other way, and then back the first way. So once that is all done, your scarf is ready to go. It's a really nice, easy gift. I think it looks great on both men and women. And I really hope you enjoyed this project. So here is the thick rib side, and as you go to the end, you go to the thinner rib, and it just has a neat little detail. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Let me know in the comments below who you are going to make this for. I made it for my husband, and I really hope you'll check out the other patterns that I have here on video.